Hey guys, welcome to Mouths of the Merrimack. I'm Captain Chris here with,
Dan Diodati.
and we have a very special guest, a gentleman who's near and dear to our hearts. He's my Noah. He's our Noah.
Yeah, I know. He's responsible for a lot of family memories, a lot of great days fishing.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of owe it all to this guy.
You get what I'm saying with the Noah, the ark builder?
Yeah, I get it.
All right.
I get it.
So thankful, coming from us from North Carolina, we got our good friend and boat maker, Mr. Bryan Pair. How you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing good, Chris and Dottie. I certainly appreciate you guys having me on the show tonight.
So Bryan is the owner of Pair Custom Boats. Those of you who have listened to us have heard Dan and I talk about our boats pretty much every podcast for all 30 of them or so far. Yep. I'm the current owner of a 24 Mod V, and Dan, you got
I have a 21 Mod V. Mine's a little bit newer than Chris's, but hey, what can you do?
Mine's a little bit better and badasser than his. So
yeah, yours is a little more fishy
Absolutely.
now, I guess. Yeah.
But that's the great thing about Bryan's boats. No matter what you want to do, he builds them the way you want it, which is really a big factor of why I wanted to get the boat. When I was looking around, I happened to find him back in the early days and before the name Pair Custom, actually, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started about 2015, and under the name Seox, and that modified V designed by Dave Collier. It has kind of taken us until we did the 21 Mod V. Is what we started out with, and then from there we created the 24 Mod V, and from there we have since added the 21 Deep V as well as the 24 Deep V. So, so we built boats under Seox there for the first couple of years until we did a rebranding. And so now it's Pair Customs. Currently building about 100 boats a year. And kind of our theme is kind of no more, no less, and exactly what you want out of the boat and what you want on the boat. Whatever your fishing family, we got all the cushions, or we can put no cushions on it. And that's one of the
awesome.
best things about it is that you get the choice. You just not you don't have to have it one way.
And the fact that you've grown and you're making 100 or so boats a year is just incredible, Bryan, because I know how hard you work. I remember, I think it was 2018 when I first contacted you and got a 2019 out of it. And, your operation is it's top notch. I really enjoyed working with you. You made the process super easy for somebody who's going down this process. It's not like you go, well, at least back then. Do you have any dealers around now? Or people are more working directly with you or in the company?
I currently have two dealers, and they're pretty close to me.
Yeah.
However, here in the past week, and I hope that it does transpire, I don't know if you guys know where Millway Marina is. It's up towards Cape Cod, but I have had a couple of discussions with them on becoming a dealer. And then, but other than that, I've got some stuff going on down in Florida and trying to also reach kind of the Panhandle area as well. But you will see us branch out and try to get some local allies, up towards you guys and kind of all around. The boats fit a wide variety of fishing, family, and sizes. So you will see that coming up here probably in the next year.
That's awesome. So where do you think you're doing most of your business now? Is it Florida that you're building the most boats for, or is it right in North Carolina?
I would probably have to say in between Florida and North Carolina and Virginia.
Okay.
And
Oh, nice.
so when I started, I always knew that it was going to be in exposures. However many exposures that I have in the areas was going to determine how many boats kind of went to those areas. some of the bigger companies can kind of fast forward that process with, with capital funding and, a big dealer network. Us dealing more in the direct field, sometimes we don't get to take advantage of that, but we're keeping at it, and slowly but surely it's catching the attention of a lot of people, up and down the seaboard.
I think your Instagram page is the only Instagram page I ever actually stopped to look at, because what's great about the Pair Customs, as well as being versatile, there's no two that are alike. Your imagination as an owner for what you want, you can get whatever your heart desires to make it the perfect boat. And I've seen some really, really cool boats that you guys have put out. I saw that, was it red one the other day? Like that.
Yeah, that was the first red one I saw that you guys had posted. That was a sharp looking boat.
Yeah, absolutely. We have that was actually a repeat customer. He's a local, and I built him a 24 Mod V tower boat the first time, and then he came back in, and he kind of isn't up in the tower as much as he was once before. So now we built him this second boat, and it has the Mercury 300R on the back with the jack plate. He's on the Outer Banks, and there's like little or no water, a lot of shoals all around. And the 24 Mod V, that boat, I advertise a 14-inch draft, but really I have people call me all the time, customers, say that we're in 10, 12 inches of water, no problem, and it can certainly do it. And that, and he had a nice radar arch, which is a pretty good. You don't really see them a lot anymore, but you can call it kind of an expansive grab rail or whatnot. We can put rod holders on it, radars, light bars, really any of that stuff. And the best thing about it is, when you go out, you're probably not going to see another one that's quite like that, which I like. And trying to be a little bit different always helps.
Yeah, I think we have like 7 of them on the river by us.
We have,
now, and every single one of them is different.
Everyone is different.
Yeah.
We got a deep V with a tower. We got my boat. We got your 21.
Yep.
Different colors. Yours is powder coated. Mine's not. I have 2 live wells. Jimmy Myers is pretty comparable to mine. We got a gray one. We got one with Suzuki, one with Mercury. So they're definitely growing in our little area. And it's funny. It's like he's got a Jeep for a car, and it's like that Jeep brotherhood. I see them waving to each other, and definitely when you see pairs going by, like it catches our eyes, and everyone's pointing at each other, and they're all pumped up. I remember there's been a couple times I've been out there, and I've been like, "Ooh, that's a sharp looking boat going out there," and it will be like him or one of our other pair brothers up here. So it's a little brotherhood. We kind of see each other out there, fish together, talk a lot. So we've met some great friends through there. And as a guide, so, for those of you that don't know, people who might be listening to this, I'm a guide up here in Newburyport, Massachusetts. And we're pretty much fishing hardcore every day with customers from, we start in April on the weekends. And then pretty much through June, July, August, we're out there every day. And as a guiding boat, the amount of room, the fishability, the comfort, the storage, the ride, the ease of cleaning it. It checks off so many boxes. I'm on my 5th year with it now. This will be my 5th season. I think I got 3,900 hours on it. And, man, I've loved every single one. It's just been an absolute battle tank. And it's just, I love everything about it. I'm waiting for a new one here. I think I'm going to throw a tower up on the next one.
Yeah, you probably should get that order in, though, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have 100 boats a year, but you probably have 300 to build.
Yeah, we are backed up, but like I said, we are getting more and more efficient in our builds. We keep adding small things like taking parts that aren't molded parts, like our anchor liner. We just introduced a mold that makes our anchor liner a one-piece drop-in versus hand finishing it. And, you know, you could count on, I don't know, let's just say 3 hours of manpower per boat that it took to hand finish each one of the anchor liners. And those and the rear fish boxes are both molded now. So kind of gives you,
nice.
you know, a little bit more expedited process that allows us to kind of move them across the line a little bit, which counts, you know, in 12,000 foot of building. You know, you know, the seconds count, the minutes count, you know, all the way down to it.
For sure.
So
I'm curious to know.
One memorable experience I will not forget is when Chris came down for his test drive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but it was sleeting when.
Oh my God! You are so soft. That was like a heat wave for me, Bryan. That's right. I felt so bad. He's like, "Yeah, I guess we'll go. You guys flew down here."
Yeah, we were sitting there, and we were kind of looking at each other like on the test drive. But I do remember because the boat had a 350 Suzuki on it, and the sleet was just cutting through us as hard as we could. But
yeah, that's right. That one had the half tower on it, I believe.
That's right. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so there was a little gap in the window at that point, and with the sleet, it didn't feel so good. But I'll tell you, dude, I didn't feel it. I was loving it. I remember my father threw the throttle down, and he was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
and
great.
yeah, I remember going down there, and it was so cool. It was so fun, just going down there and seeing it, the process of it getting built, and talking to the workers, like. That was just a great experience to see the process going down and seeing the boat inside out. And actually, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when we left, we were driving back to, I don't know, the plane, and we had some time, and we saw another big boat manufacturer down there, and we finagled a tour of this. Yeah, we finagled a tour, and we actually had a tour guide and all that stuff, Bryan, right? And we had just come from your shop, and to see the insides of a boat that, you know, at that time, or probably still, cost 2 times as much as a pair. You know, your stringers were thicker. You had more foam. You had heavier weight. There was better cleanliness on the lines. And it was just like, my father and I could not stop talking about it. How, you know, going from your shop to this huge factory, the difference in the quality that you guys were kind of putting out from our perspective, of the things that people don't see, you know, and that's something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget this guy said, you know, and these ones are all done being foamed up. And I just got out of your factory where you were putting the foam and glassing it over, and it looked really nice. And the foam there just looked like, you know, somebody threw up inside there. And then I said, "That's it? You're done?" He goes, "Yeah, we meet the minimum requirement for flotation." I'm like, wow. And I was just like, I think that was another thing that just kind of sold me on the type of quality that you guys put into it there.
Yeah, so I'm curious, like, as far as the design process, Bryan, was it a Seahawks mold that you had, or were you just going on, like, basically what the hull design was, and you created something on your own? Was there a lot of trial and error with that? Like, how did you actually come up with the hull designs?
So where I started, there was an ex-Seahawks kind of project manager that after Seahawks went out in the 90s, he started building the 21. See, Seahawks never had a 21 or a 20. They had a 20 and a 23. So he made a 21, which is what I started with. I was able to acquire the 21 whole mold from him, and it was made off of the Seahawks boats that were produced and designed by Bruce Collier. Okay. So, but that's kind of where I started. You know, I had been refitting boats, and it was kind of time. I kind of knew that it was either look, we're going to do this or we're not. I'm going to have to pursue other means to support my family and go about that. So but we started with that, and we had to build. I built the first two 21s with the motors hung on the stern, which is not a bad thing. It encroaches on the room a little bit inside the boat. We're actually getting ready to come back out and have an available version of both the 21 and the 24 with the motor bolted directly onto the stern with a traditional splash wheel on there. You'll be able to have all the same parts as the other. It'll just be a different way that we are going to offer the 21 to hit some more price points. We're going to power it with 150 horsepower and package it a certain way, and hopefully be able to advertise that boat, and then also venture into the 24 and hit it with some 250s, maybe even some 200s. Just to be able to make sure that whatever it is, or if there's a special request, or if that's just the way that you like it, then we can do that.
Yeah, I'm assuming like having the motor directly on the transom and having the cutout, the boat probably turns on a dime, I would assume, right? A little less.
Yes. Yeah. So every time you push the brackets are great. They're like one of the biggest selling points of the boats.
Well, they make the boat so big, so it's a big 21. Yeah.
Well, I built the first two boats, and I built boxes in the back of each corner, and I absolutely hated it. And because you could never get into the corner, me as a fisherman, and I love to tuck into each of the corners if you're fishing, and or we don't put the batteries back there, and we don't have any electrical connections that go through there, so they kind of serve no purpose. So, but
so when you have the cutout in the back like that, where does the live well go? So
that is the only thing that will get altered, is that live well in the stern goes away. So we will have to introduce one. I have done my large live well like Chris has on a 21. The only sacrifice is that you have to sacrifice about 6 inches of that bilge hatch because the live well will protrude aft of that. We do have other live well options, lean and post live well options that we source. The same company that we get our fiberglass hardtops from has a lean and post live well that is a 40-gallon that kind of takes the place of that as well. So that'll be also another great option, and if the if our tests prove right and we need to come out with a new part, we're building new molds every day. Our all the way down, we've got 2 new models that are getting ready to come out, the 25 and the 27. The 25 is kind of a real hardcore tournament fishing boat. It's a little bit different than my 21 and 24, but we are able to hang up to 600 horsepower on it. The first one, we have a Seakeeper inside of it. It has a step-down console to where you can do that. So that boat should hit a lot of fishing profiles. Probably, one of the closest ones to it would be like the 27 Onslow. And we have made the demo boat, and we've made 2 more of those so far, and we are plugging along, adding live wells, adding a couple different parts in there to make sure that we make it the best fishing boat that we can do.
We saw, is that the one you posted on Instagram a few weeks ago? The little test drive?
Yeah, it was. You know, it's so we're fine tuning that in, and I've got to call in to my videographer and the photographer, and we're getting it all dialed up, and we're gonna take it down, do all the marketing stuff on it, do it. That's a super package. You know, that boat will be able to be powered anywhere from twin 150s all the way up to, you know, the twin 300 Mercuries, which that's what we have on it on the demo boat. You know, it pushes it upwards to 65 miles an hour top end. The Mercury V8 300, its advantage is that it weighs the same thing as the Suzuki 200. So there's different, like Dante's boat. You know, I'm able to throw 300 horsepower on that boat, and it really livens it up. You know, but those are a couple of the motor options that we're able to do on that one.
I can't imagine your boat with the 300.
Yeah, I know.
You'll finally be able to beat me.
Yeah.
We race all the time, by the way.
Right. Well, it's like, you know, we're on the river, but you know, the biggest thing is, in all actuality, you know, we're cruising, you know, 30s, you know, and that's what's getting the best gas mileage. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Both those modified V hulls, I mean, you can achieve over 3 miles to the gallon, which helps out with the fuel prices and everything else, you know, that's going on.
I think, as far as I know, at least everyone that I know that has one, I have a 250 on my 24, and I'll tell you, I can go as fast as I want. You know, I think I've maxed it out around like 47, 48, but I'm cruising at like 31. I'm burning usually around like 13, but that's with like a full group of guys. That's me plus 4 other dudes, 2 live wells filled up to the brim, all kinds of ice and coolers and bags. And, you know, what we're getting, I'm getting, you know, 13 gallons an hour at cruising speed with a ton of weight on it with the 250. Now, when all that weight comes off and it's just me and one other person going around, I mean, it just sips. It just absolutely sips.
Yeah, some of the performance numbers on my boat have been unbelievable. I had to take a picture of my gauges because I was doing 28 or 29, and I was only burning it was less than 8 gallons an hour. It was amazing. I think it just sips gasoline.
Yeah, that certainly helps. Absolutely, and that's, you know, it's the modified V hull achieves at a very low planing speed, 17, 18 miles an hour. And what that equates to is that, you know, unlike some, you know, like the DVs have a higher speed plane, so you don't have to go as fast. You know, if it gets rough or whatever, you got a large party on board, you want to go slower. That the modified V, the 21, 24 are extremely stable platforms that, you know, people get up, they move around, you know. And you're not having to work the boat. You're not having to work the tabs. And that's one of the best things about it. So it's a low maintenance running hull that kind of just does what it's intended to do.
Definitely. So when you finished your first 24, did you go out and drive it as a critic, or did you go out and just have a huge smile on your face because that thing just rides amazing?
Oh yeah, with any new model, you know, going to the ramp is always an exciting time, you know, because you have expectations and you're powering it with certain power and kind of what are we doing here and how does it handle? But you know, what we have stuck to is, you know, with everything that we've done is we've been coming away with smiles and not having to tweak very, very much, which helps.
Yeah. So when you were designing the DV hull, what did you do to make it? Because I noticed that compared to other DV boats like a Steiger or even a Parker, like they list a lot. The listing in the 24 DV it's a pretty stable boat because our buddy Kyle has one now, so we've been going out and having fun with him on it. And we noticed too, when we load up one side of the boat, it doesn't rock like you would think it would for a deep V.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you, here in Washington, Beaufort County is somehow the metropolis of boat builders, and one you can call him a mentor. Jim, he is he was the founder of Egret Boats. He has built more boats than probably all of us put together. But his best running hull was a 22-degree hull bottom, and that was some of the influence that I got from him. As well as him looking at the hull bottom as well. But when you don't have that 24, 25 degree bottom, and I'm probably heavier than some of the others. So sharper, lighter equals more tippy. We put in that 24 deep V, we put 150 gallons of fuel, and I put it as low and as center as possible, and
to help kind of balance it out.
That's right. The bracket also kind of helps out. If you can imagine, the bracket is a platform off of the stern. It's kind of like if you had a 5-gallon bucket turned over on each side of the boat, affixed to the boat. Then it kind of acts and helps as a stabilizer as well. But to answer you, yes, I have that discussion a lot. My 24 deep V is a fantastic hull. It's I love it. I love it with single power. I love it with twin power. Today we were riding on the river. We've got a gentleman that is coming on Thursday. He's from South Carolina, and he's got twin 200 Mercuries, and he is picking up his boat, and it it does great. It's a very flat riding boat. It's a very stable boat, and it performs, exactly like it should with 400 horsepower hooked up to it.
I really like the design to our friend Kyle's boat, and has that high cap option.
Yep.
And when you're inside of it, it's just a beautiful, nice little fit and finish. We were out jigging for tuna that day, and it was pretty rough. What was it, 3.5 to 4.5 footers?
Yeah, it was 4 seconds
with solid 6-foot swells mixed in.
Yep.
And having that little extra 4 inches, while you're up on the side drifting and jigging, was super helpful for those in the offshore game. We have the Mod Vs. I'm generally sticking in, in the midshore most of my trips. So that was just a nice little thing that I saw on Kyle's boat that, I saw a couple boats with them that you had built with it, but I thought that was a nice little touch. And I thought it had a nice little clean, offshore-y type of look to it.
Absolutely. And we built that part because of the demand of the gentleman that I built that boat for. We're actually getting ready to deliver his next boat, built the same exact way. And he runs trips, and he has 4, 5, 6 people on board, and they want to feel in the boat, and we've got that option if that is your feel, and how we want to fish, and where you want that gunnel to hit you. Then we have that option, and really, we can put that on the modified V. We can put it on the deep V as well, and that feel is how the 25 is going to hit you as well. The 25 is 25 LOA. So it is a non-bracketed boat. It has Euro transom on it, but I can just imagine that there are some guys, especially up in the north. The season is probably shorter than what ours is here, And, that option for the Seakeeper is going to, if you're going to go out, a lot of times it's not slick calm. And the Seakeeper 1 is an absolutely phenomenal tool that we are able to implement in that boat. And it keeps the boat within a 2% roll, which is very, very nice.
It's unbelievable.
What's a Seakeeper going for these days as an option?
So the Seakeeper 1 will range you in between 25 and 29,000 installed. It just so happens in the 25 that it is able to fit in the bottom of the console. So it's almost like it was made. It was made for that space. So
Destiny.
Now, if you're thinking more of a family orientated boat, is that a place where you could possibly throw a head or a porta potty down in that little cutout now that you have it?
Absolutely. So that console. So we took our design because I like our large console with the front door that we designed, and the space that's inside of it, and we actually enlarged it so you can step down, and there will be able to be a head that is offered in that console. You can and it will provide almost a clear 6-foot head height in that console, which will be very, very nice.
Just to let you know, you might have just sold the boat to my father. He's been wanting a pair for a few years, but my mom wanted the head, so
Oh yeah,
expect an order.
Is the beam on the boat? Is it 8.6 beam or is it a 9? You going bigger with the beam on the 25?
It's an 8.6 beam.
Okay.
It's a very big bow boat. And you'll start to see a lot more footage of it when we get all of the photos and videos and everything.
Awesome. So what made you go with it? Is it that sporty look of the Euro transom? Is there a reason? Is it because of the power? Like why did you kind of? I mean, you're really changing the design a lot compared to what you've been making.
I'll tell you, kind of, and you may the models that I have currently, and it's really been in the past couple years, and the fact that we outsource the brackets that go on the boat. Yep. And we purchased them from one of the two largest outboard bracket manufacturers in the United States. But it's one part that during the times it kind of did hold us up a little bit, and kind of the Euro kind of takes that out of the equation and lets us kind of have full control of the process and the time that it takes to put the boat together. Plus, there's some other parts that we can implement into that, like the new 27 DV that we stemmed off of the 24 DV has a Euro transom built into it. But one of the advantages is I was able to enlarge the live well in the back, so we're going to be encroaching like 40 gallons. And the live well is going to stick out of the back of the Euro transom, which is it's more or less the extension of the bracket. Still the same ability to tuck into both of of each of the rear corners there, but because we were able to factor in that extra space, and we didn't have the transom going at a negative angle of us, we were able to achieve a more rounded live well in the stern, which is really going to be attractive.
I mean,
sounds amazing.
Yeah, live wells for us, the way we fish up here, are just a huge factor. And having a 40, I'm just thinking about this now, and just having that 40-gallon circular live well or oval-shaped live well in the stern frees up for me my live well underneath my leaning post. So now I could put things like tackle storage boxes and get like one of those whole things set up. And it really allows, like somebody like me with my 24, I needed the bigger live well for the amount of bait I have to hold. But now if you move that to the stern, now it frees up some room for me to play with and get creative, or other people to get creative with what they want to do with their leaning post chair situation. Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a couple different options. We have the large deluxe tackle cabinet that goes under the leaning post now. We have the shorter version that is still able to do the planos and the 2 pullouts, and 45 Yeti under there. 2 different helm seat options, ones with armrests, ones with not. Whichever you need. But yes, that space under the leaning post is very valuable real estate, and it always is an area of compromise if you were needing the extra live well storage or room for gear or storage, etc.
Dan, you got to talk about how they rigged up your trolling motor batteries, because
how did that even come about with the rigging, having the batteries in the anchor locker? I think it was a great idea, because it's amazing. Obviously, trim tabs are a must up here, but they do a great job of keeping the bow down, having the weight up.
Yeah,
it's like a
absolutely.
Great balance.
So we, the worst was when you had to put 5 batteries in the regular console, like the one that both of you have. And when you do that, it's just shot, and all of the space inside the console goes away, and the anchor locker is huge, So, and we've got some very talented riggers, and with a lot of great ideas, and we came up with a way to put those batteries up in the front. We're doing a lot of lithium single 36 volt up in the anchor locker now. And
I have to say, have any of them caught on fire? It's like
I don't like that reaction, Dan.
Yeah, thankfully, no.
Yeah, okay.
We were just talking about that.
Because it's always like a debate in the boating community, people talking about it. Because I said, when my batteries go, maybe I will consider the lithium option. Everyone's like, no, you can't do that, because they, the batteries, sometimes they can combust.
Well, and it's and I guess there's 2 sides to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, these chargers that come with the lithiums, they have automatic shutoffs. They don't let you overcharge, which overcharging of a lithium kind of has been the main cause of combusting. But I've talked to guides, and they are, they're running 6 trips on a charge instead of 6 hours. So, an 11-year warranty on a lithium, and it's kind of, it's just, if you're going to be running that trolling motor a lot and really working it, it might be worth it.
So how much does one of those 36 volt batteries weigh? They're pretty light, right?
It is like a standard group 31, and I believe it is right under 100 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Is the weight of it.
And a typical 31,
they're probably about 45
I think they're like 48 or so, like for 12 volt.
So I think a group 24 is normally 55 pounds.
Yeah, 55.
So like Dante's, you probably have 3 group 24 batteries.
Correct.
So you're about 170. It's about 160 pounds extra. So to be able to cut that almost in half, helps. As well.
Definitely. Yeah, the anchor locker, the design is awesome, because I still have 300 feet of anchor line in there. I have a number 8 anchor, and I still have 5 life jackets in there, as well as some safety stuff, and the 3 batteries. It all fits.
Yeah, I got 400 feet of anchor line, 25 feet of chain. I think I got a 15-pound anchor. I go big because of like the tuna fishing that we do up here. But then I also have like my safety box with all my flares, like a backup first aid kit in there. I got like my drift sock, my harness, my plate. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that just gets shoved up there. Yeah, and it holds it all.
So if Chris needs something in there, it's going to take a while to get it.
Only he knows exactly where it's at.
Yeah,
Exactly. See, he gets it. He gets it, Dan. For sure. I'll tell you one thing, though. This guy, the way he cleans his boat, it still looks brand new every
you have
day.
to keep it brand new.
Yeah.
That's good. I love to see customers taking care of their boat, and it means that you care about it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So to me, it's the most expensive thing I ever bought myself. So I want to take care of it, and I do want either a 24 DV or maybe even a 27. Who knows? Someday. And I am going to have to sell it too. So it's you got to protect your investment.
So when you go to 27, are you going to be doing a mod V as well? Probably. Or are you just doing a deep V?
Probably just the deep V.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, to start out with, the going into the 24 deep V, the stability of it was a big question, but it turned out so well that we're going to carry that over. And the idea behind the 27 is the same effect that I got when I built the 21 to the 24. And when you stretch that hull across the water, the difference of how that boat rides. And we did a full hull extension, so you've got almost 40 inches of additional hull in the water, which will allow for better displacement. We'll be able to put up to 600 horsepower on that boat and still be able to offer all the same options that we currently do. Towers, half towers, regular consoles, radar arches, or just a regular console and a grab bar, for the light tackle fly fishermen.
And that's going to be more designed like how you currently have your 24 deep V as opposed to your 25 that you're coming out with, correct?
That's correct.
Like the bow, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's correct. It will fall right in line with our traditional line, and it will look and that one is slowly but surely coming to the finish line, and you should see some stuff coming out of that model as well.
It's awesome.
And I don't know if I think I just remembered where that dealer was that I was talking. Was it Barnstable, Massachusetts?
Oh, Barnstable.
Yeah,
that's not far from us. Yeah.
So anyway, and that's another thing that I look for is we're not out here just to sell a bunch of boats. We're here to create relationships. We're here to sell boats to last a lifetime. And those guys, I think they don't deal in too many other lines. I mean, I think Conch is one of the other lines, and Pioneer, and they kind of understand our boats, and hopefully they'll be coming on board here later this year, and can kind of provide, because that's really half the battle is gentlemen like yourselves have made the trip and come down. Some people they kind of are on the fence, and do I make the trip all the way down there? And I am extremely grateful that you guys kind of took the plunge and had enough faith to in us to come down and check out the operation, get the boats and promote it in your local waters, and continue to do so.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great product, man. It's just the boats are unbelievable. To ride in one and then to think you're going to even do anything else is kind of crazy to me. Chris and I are obviously huge fishermen, and the platform is just it's the best inshore fishing platform, having the 21 mod or the 24 mod V that's around. I know that nothing really competes with it. And I think I feel like I can't own anything else.
I won't.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We'll just step you up in size, or and keep.
Yeah, definitely.
keep
I
you
just
on
have to wait for the Black Friday sale. You know what I mean?
right.
Well, yeah, but to go back to what you said earlier, Bryan, about building relationships, when it comes to like this fishing community that we have, I think there's something special. I know a lot of people that I've talked to that have been on my boat and have dealt with you, even if they bought a used one, if they ended up buying a used one that somebody was selling. First of all, everybody that I know that bought a used one, the person they bought it off on was buying another one from you. Right?
Yeah, you must have a ton of repeat business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's that. I love it when customers come back, just like the gentleman with the bright orange boat that's leaving this week. The fact that he, comes back and wants us to build him another special, boat for him that he's going to hold on to is that really means a lot to us.
And then even more so, one thing I do want to say, me and Dan started this podcast last March was when we released.
Yeah.
And, just doing something for fun. For those of you that don't know, we have a little membership thing where we talk about fishing a little bit more privately and things like that. And Bryan, you were one of the first people that became a member, just showing your support. And I remember talking to Dan of how much it meant to us. That because we're talking about Northeast fishing, we're talking about boats and just being our goofy selves, and just showing that support from somebody that we hold in high regard. I just remember it was an awesome feeling. And when you are involved with companies that are like that, where it's like a family and friends, it just makes it all that more special. And when somebody like you does something like that and standing behind that product, it's just a really great feeling for somebody like us to be involved with. And we really, really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, you guys are in those waters and you're fishing all the time, and you know it. And I was extremely excited to hear you guys, branch out, take that next step and get everybody informed, and kind of let everybody know what's going on in the fishing community, because that's what it takes. It's just the community of fishermen is it's where it's at, and the podcasts are doing a great job doing that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun for us. There's no doubt about it. Do you get any time to fish, or are you just working every day? How's it going? You must have a day off.
We are working a lot, but we love it, and that's that's something. But we do, I say that I don't. I went fishing yesterday and caught some speckled trout. So.
Yeah. Yeah, test drive, bring a couple rods.
Yeah, really.
Oh, that's great. So, what do you hold for a boat for yourself? You must have one that's yours, right?
So my boat, and I'll kind of tell you my 24 DV that I powered with a single 400 Mercury, full tower, coffin box in the front, trolling motor, twin power poles. That boat is probably the most versatile platform that you can have, especially in North Carolina, like where we're at, down towards Harker's Island. I know you guys know where Harker's Island's at.
Yeah.
Down towards Beaufort. A lot of fly fishermen down there, but there's no water in and around there, and the ability, that boat's got outriggers on it. It's got a full tower, trolling motor, and I love, not as much as I love forward seating, I love not having forward seating. And I know fishermen. So as far as fishing, when you're going with the boys, that coffin box up in front and the ability to move around it makes all the difference in the world. And that's my boat that I've had until this 25, and I'll have a 27 demo boat this year. So
yeah, that's an awesome point with the coffin box, because Kyle's boat had one, the one that came up here from down there, And
Yeah.
when we went out tuna fishing, it was nice. The workability to be able to walk around, still be able to fish. You know, there was a couple of times where Chris got in my way, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
sorry I
gonna
knocked
happen.
you over those times.
Right.
But you know, even to sometimes just have a spot to sit down, because you know, because there's some days that we'll fish 12 hours, straight 12-hour day on the boat, and it's nice to just be able to have a place to take a seat.
Oh, absolutely. That coffin box, they're made by Frigid Rigid, and the way I fish it is I always store all the bulk ice in the box under the coffin box, put all the
Yep.
drinks and everything. And I always put the fish in the rear boxes, and then just ice on top of them. Of course, you can choose to macerate those rear boxes if you choose, or let it drain into the bilge. But that Frigid Rigid is a phenomenal cooler, that'll keep for days.
Now, your rear fish boxes, you mentioned now that they're molded, because I know in mine, like, it's just the hatch. And so when you mean like molded, is it more like a container? Like, is it a little bit smaller than the original one like I had in my boat?
Not any smaller, but it's more on the fit and finish. It's a completely
finish side.
It's like your
Yeah.
whole side. Like, so when you
Yeah.
open that box, it's nice, smooth. So we took all of before we would have to laminate the box, then we'd have to sand it, we'd have to pull putty over it, and then we'd have to paint it a couple times. So it was about a 5-step process. So you take those boxes and the anchor liner and the time that it takes to do that, and then we saw where we could improve it by making those drop-in molded boxes. And it actually is a bottom that molds, that gets bonded to the whole bottom, which actually increases the strength of it overall. So it was kind of a win-win.
And with it being nice and smooth, it's probably way easier to clean now too, right?
Way easier.
So like that would be something I'd probably wax that, so that way when I just spray it down at the end of the day, all that blood and guts and stuff would just come right out.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to Kyle's boat, because Bryan, I think you'll actually laugh at this story when he got it delivered to him up here. So the way this story worked out, this kid talked to me. I ran 2 charters, right? And then I was getting back at the dock around like 3:34 in the afternoon. And Kyle's like, dude, let's go. My buddy told me there was 1 million tuna like 30 miles out. Let's go. I'm like, all right, Jesus. All right. So we went afternoon tuna fishing. And our friend Kyle, he just started getting into saltwater fishing probably about 3 or 4 years ago. He came on a couple of charters with me and he got really into it. And he's been kind of shifting through boats. So we're driving out there, and he was going to look at something else. I think he had the Parker at the time, right?
Yeah.
The Parker Deep V. And he goes, I don't know what I'm looking. I'm just going to go get one of these. Within a week, he was down in South Carolina fishing with your buddy there. And he ends up bringing it back up here. And so do you want to tell the rest of the story of how this day, the break-in day of the 24 Deep V for Kyle?
So we were all excited this 24 DV was coming, so we're like, oh, when are we going to get an invite on it? What's going to happen? And Kyle was like, well, he's like, we should go to the Cape tomorrow. And for us to go out to like the Bass River Inlet, or even I think we ended up going to Green Harbor, but it's an hour and a half drive at a minimum.
First day, I think we went out to Bass River, so it's like a 2 hour.
So it's like a 2.5 hour drive, and we're like, you don't even have the boat, so
right?
You don't even have the boat. He's like, the boat's on its way. He said the boat's being delivered around like 10 p.m. tonight. We can go. Well, let's wake up at like 2 a.m. and we'll head down there. like all right, why not? Let's do it. So there was a little bit of a technical difficulty on the way up because one of the tires blew out on his trailer. So the guy hauling it had to replace the tire. And good thing the trailer had the spare tire option, I guess. And then so
absolutely.
the boat got in around midnight. It was around midnight, and then we all ended up meeting there about an hour later. We got everything in there, and then we drove it down. And mind you, we never even saw the boat in the daylight.
Never turned it on. Nothing. Right. I pull up. I had life jackets, and like he goes, "Oh man, I'm gonna need my safety equipment. I don't know if we're gonna be street legal."
So funny. We had all the safety equipment. We just threw it in there. We're like, we'll figure it out as we go.
I had life jackets for my like 12-foot aluminum skiff I go freshwater fishing with. Now, mind you, we were banking on what's it like a 40-mile run.
Yeah, it was a 40-mile run.
Yeah. So like Kyle stepped on, he goes, "Yep, looks good." And pretty much we trailed it 2 hours in the middle of the night and then went 40 miles tuna fishing.
It was a hell of a sea trial.
Yeah, it was not rough. I mean, not nice out.
So the thing about it though is like us being Mod V guys, being on the DP and getting under power and then going like, we were like, wow, this ride's really, really nice. And then when we went around Monomoy, which is like a big sandbar around Cape Cod, that's when the ocean it changes like that. And it was pretty big, and it wasn't calling to be that big, but it was progressively getting bigger as we were going down there. And we were like, well, we're committed. It is a deep V. Let's do it. And we were riding, the boat was riding so nice. And I was just like, wow, it's pretty wild out here. And Chris was like, oh, it's not that bad. And then I looked to the right, and it's like a 6-foot swell just goes right under us and through. And I was like, oh my God, it's huge out here. And then we did it was like 32 miles an hour. It was like 3.8 at 4 seconds. With the following sea, we just plowed right out there. It was amazing.
It was
amazing.
We were laughing. As we were driving.
It was like a pillow landing,
We didn't go out in the tower on the ride out. That's for sure. But it was like one of those days like, oh, it's not that bad. But when we finally stopped, we started jigging for tuna, you just see the waves coming up in that eye level. Like, oh man, it was pretty nasty out there. So,
and then none of us had ever been in a tower because they're not really popular up here unless you have a tuna stick boat. It's like the only people that are really doing. But I think that the locals are coming around to it. You're starting to see a lot more of them. And to get up and drive in that tower is a whole new perspective. It's unbelievable what you can see. And I'm not going to lie. The first time I was a little clinched up there trying to because you can't, the whole reed is totally different. The waves look different. The water looks different. Everything's different. But then as soon as you're comfortable, it's like you just want to live up there. It's great.
Yeah. I think that tower provides, that alternate driving station. And, when the boat gets packed, I'll climb up there and drive from the tower. And, you got a whole different line of sight and, guys anywhere from, trying to look for tunas or blue water fishing, watching the baits, watching, the fish come into the spread. It certainly adds a different perspective to the day.
Yeah, we had to get out there again, and the next time we went out was a little bit more calm, and it was kind of a different fishing situation. Rather than jigging for tuna, it was a lot of topwater action that day, but it was pretty sporadic. And going up on the tower and being able to get a gauge on, what direction the birds were going, you could see the darker bait ball starting to form, and it got to the point that you were able to get to the school of fish before they were popping up. Instead of doing the whole, oh, they're over there and going and running over, you could go up there and see the whole kind of ecosystem and point to the direction where it's going, kind of make your way and say, you could find that lead bird a little bit easier and you could set up on it. And that tower was just such a huge advantage. It was a ton of fun. How about, are a lot of inshore guys fishing down there getting tower options too? Because I feel like there are times like on my boat, when I'm fishing like 4 or 5 feet of water or less, I can go up on my bow and I can see like striped bass and I can see them moving. And it's just like, as a guide, if I'm in that advantage in the shallow water that a tower could provide, it'd be absolutely deadly. Absolutely deadly.
Oh, absolutely. One of the guys down here, good friend of mine, Ben Morris, we go fishing, a couple times with him every year. And, he's perched up in the tower, and we're fishing a lot of shallower areas, but we were fishing with him, last year, and he was able to sight a jack that was on the flats, and throw to him. And him being up there, he's not, he's not down at the bottom. We're down on the bottom, and it gives him a great place for the captain to be, all day. It's kind of like his bridge. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, imagine you up in the tower. How much? Less
I'll be like your height. It'd be great. I'm usually on my tippy toes. I'm only 5'5", 5'6", so I'll take any advantage I can get, Brian.
I hear you.
That's great.
All right, Brian. So we're kind of running up on an hour here. I'm going to ask you a couple questions to kind of end this. But is there anything else that you want to talk about, or anything that we missed that you want to go over? Anything you'd like to talk about with the boats?
Man, not really. Again, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I appreciate it. Pair Marine, Pair Customs. We are trying to branch out more and more. Certainly appreciate the help of all of you and putting the word out in the community. We are building what seems to be kind of like a dying breed of full 3-piece, simplified boats, and if you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff that's getting really, really technical out there, and we like to keep it simple. The fact of the matter is that everybody, just like myself, doesn't have any more time. If anything, it's less time at the end of the day, and not having 1,000 nooks and crannies to clean around certainly helps every aspect of that, and like I said, we've got 2 new models that are coming out in addition to, and a reminder that we currently have, 4 models in between 21 and 24, modified V, deep V. Both of them are available and have many different power options, and we have the 25 and the 27 coming out. Of course, on the back burner is the 34, which is the whole mold is built, and there is a boat sitting in the mold in the shop.
I remember that bad boy. That thing was a tank. I remember seeing it.
That boat is there, but if we can get a bigger facility, then we will probably start taking orders for that one maybe in the next couple years. So
awesome. So I just want to add too. If I just want to add that if someone does go to your website, is it pairmarine.com?
Pairmarine.com. And we have had, and look, so I'll talk about my website because kind of our web developer is a customer, and Captain Tony Pipton, and he does a phenomenal job and helps us in the web field, which was somewhere, when we took a look at it, we needed some advancements in our website. And, we were able to, now we have a complete builder on there with all of our options.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm not going to lie. I go on it like once a month and I build a new boat.
I've built about 40 boats in the past 2 months.
Yeah. So, that was something that we needed to do. And he's helped us every step of the way.
Brian, it's kind of funny because when I flew down to see it for the first time, you barely had a website. It just said like Seahawks Marine. Yeah. And in today's day and age, but like I think I saw it was like a ground roots movement. I think I actually saw the first couple. Somebody posted on the Hull Truth. It might have been you. I don't even know. I saw that 21, and at the time I had a 23-foot Parker. And I was just like, oh, good God. Like, if he makes a 23 or a 25, like, I'm going to have to check this thing out. And then sure enough, you did. And yeah, I remember going down there. I remember it was during my vacation in February. That's why it was sleeting and rain down there. We were coming from 0 degrees. So my dad and I, so you want to go on a trip? And we headed down there, and he goes, well, where can I see pictures? Like, there's nothing on the website. I can't believe we're going down there. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I see the post. It's just what we want. And you mentioned earlier that 3-piece boat. As a fisherman, it's a dying breed. There are not many companies making it anymore. Could you just kind of tell everybody that might not know what a 3-piece boat is and what the difference between that and a 2-piece boat would be?
Certainly. So a full 3-piece boat is built with 3 main core pieces. one being the hull, and then the next being the inside liner, which consists of the floor and the sidewalls, and then you have a top deck that goes onto there. So in our process, we have multiple bond lines in between the three parts. In between, when the liner gets set in, there is a bond line in between the liner and the hull side. Then the top deck ring is put on, and then we laminate the top deck to the liner, which is then bonded to the hull. So in the end, we are reliant on no mechanical fasteners to hold this boat together. But I'll go back to the three-piece. The three-piece is where we can get the most amount of square footage inside the boat. And square footage inside the boat is the biggest advantage that we have over some of the other boats, and even down to like little details like the recessed toe kicks under the forward seating and the console. Those little details have always been, key things that, the more room you have in the boat, if you can clear the lines from one side of the boat to another without having to duck under anything or step over anything or get tripped up, those have always been key points of what I like in fishing boats and what I think, other fishermen like in fishing boats. And I mean, in the 24, the 21, there's over 3 foot of open cockpit space behind the leaning post. The 24, there's over 4 foot of open cockpit space in the back. And
which is, if people listening don't realize, that's a lot of space. It's a lot of space back there.
Yeah. So versus a two-piece boat is a hull and a topside. Their topside. So they essentially take out one piece of construction. Yes, it does take us longer, and it does take more material to put our boats together versus a two-piece. But my boats wouldn't be the boats that they are and the theme that they are if they were a two-piece. So but that's what makes it. And space is the most valuable asset that's on the boat. You want to invite 2, 3, 4 more friends on the boat, or you got the family and you got the kids, and you always need more space. That doesn't mean that you necessarily need more length. So
well, just from a fisherman's perspective too, like the gunwale storage, being able to put rods in there, and then like when you're fighting a fish too, being able to have your knees on the rail and your toes underneath you. It's like just the whole setup, like the tow room. The tow room is the biggest thing for me with the three-piece. Just having that tow room is huge.
Absolutely.
And just kind of like you were saying about, you necessarily don't have to go longer to get more space. Like that 21 is like, not all 21s are built the same. Not all 21s are the same 21s. And the amount of room, the feel, especially with the bracket added to the end of it, to free up all that deck space in the back. A friend of ours, one of the kids who's helping us do our social media on Miles right now, his family just bought their very first boat. So just like a little 21-foot older boat. And I went with them to go pick it up and check it out. And, it's a nice boat. Actually, it's the same boat I had, same exact one, my very first boat. But then I just think about like Dan's and our buddy Kyle Fry's and their 21s that they have, and the difference in the cockpit space and the quality and the little tiny details, man. It's just, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's great. So,
I appreciate it.
I do have a question for you. You've built a bunch of boats now over the years. What are some of like unique things that people ask for? Anything specifically really cool that stand out in your mind, or really smart and well thought out that made you kind of think about changing something you do, or has anything influenced you to kind of change it based on like customer demands and stuff like that?
Well, everything. When I first started, one of our key vendors does all of our pipe work and our cushions. And when I first started, we probably had about 12 to 15 part numbers. Currently, we have about 120, and a lot of those are due to good ideas that customers have that that we instill, whether it be full coaming bolsters, or hey, we've got this new split door that goes on the large console. Let's put a cushion on the back so that we can dual purpose a Yeti 45 or 65 and have a backrest on there. One of the better things that I like, and it's all around, is just we do gator step, which is like sea deck and aqua traction and that sort of stuff. But we apply that to like the forward seating area, which makes that forward seating like a great fishing platform, and shoot, half the time I go out with the wife and kids, I don't even have to bring the cushions out, because that stuff is good enough to where it's not just the fiberglass. But other than that, I really like fishing boats. I really like the coffin boxes up in the front. I really like swivel rod holders and being able to tuck into the back of the corners and really do work on the fish. So, but other than that, you'll see in the next upcoming, you'll start to see other options like acrylic glass in our T-top enclosures that we just introduced on our 25, and that's a phenomenal advancement with what we've been doing.
That's the first thing I noted. Well, not the first thing, but watching the video, the 25 100 times, that's one thing that I really, really loved. I thought that windshield and that acrylic that you have was a really, really nice touch. Is that going to be available on like the 27 or the other 20 other models that you have as well?
So we are currently working to redesign the tops. The problem is that there's a lot of structure already built into the designs of the current tops, and some things we can sacrifice on, and some things we can't. But hopefully, like I said, we've got some very talented vendors that do that are very close to home, and hopefully they will be able to give us an option for some of the upcoming models.
Cool.
Very cool.
Well, before we go, I just want to let anybody listening know that if you are in the Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, anywhere area, anytime you need to go for a ride, you can give me a call, Chris Velasquez. You can reach me through Mouths of the Merrimack on any of our social media channels, or you can hit me up at Manilyn Charters. I'm out of Salisbury, Mass, and I have a 24-foot Mod V currently. So if anybody ever wants to go for a test drive, I'd be more than happy to take you out. So if you're up in the area, he's got the new dealer down at the Cape. If you're up a little bit up by us, come for a ride this summer. I'd be more than happy to after my trips, anytime. Yeah,
same here. I'm always willing to let people go by the dock, check out my boat. If you want to go out on it, just get a hold of Chris, and then Chris will get a hold of me.
So if you want a 21, I'll set you up with Dan. You want a 24 Mod V, come out with me. You know what? I'll be honest with you, Kyle will probably skip work anytime he wants to go for an excuse to go on his boat. So if you want a deep V, I'm sure we could wrangle him in too.
Yeah. So Bryan, I do wish you best of luck, though. I hope the deal with the Barnstable dealership does work out, because there is definitely a high demand for what you're producing, and we spread the word the best we can, but there's no better way to spread it than seeing them on the water. So,
yes, sir. Well, I certainly
right,
appreciate it, guys, and I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the time.